Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Today's video entails a concept which, if you understand to the core, can change the way you think and might also help you in making great life decisions. This video is only for people who are really serious about building long-term wealth and have the hunger to make a prosperous life a reality. There's a quote which I want to share with you folks. It goes like this: as a result of our short-sightedness, we are overfeeding the present and stealing from the future. While the interpretation for this quote can be different for everyone, but I believe that it's trying to say that in this made-up world of instant gratification, we are making decisions which might not be in the favor of our long-term interest. Everything today is available at a click of a button. You are bored, you hop onto Netflix. You are hungry, you order from Zomato. You want a pedicure, Urban Company comes to the rescue. At times, we just don't know what to do with our time. And you know what's the next thing that happens? We fall into our primitive state and start mindlessly scrolling social media, where we get a burst of different emotions every 30 seconds. These giants are using the knowledge of chemical messengers and neurotransmitters in our body, aka dopamine, to get us addicted to their offerings. While all these offerings may be comforting in the short term, most of us are unaware of the long-term consequences of instant gratification. The thing is that with more and more indulgence into this behavior of satisfying one's needs as quickly as possible, there are some serious downsides that come with it. Our attention spans get shortened and it becomes difficult to focus on productive tasks. We become less mobile, which adversely affects our health, and we tend to make impulsive decisions with our money to get short-term, shallow fulfillment from unnecessary things. In 1970, psychologist Walter Mischel, a professor at Stanford University, conducted an experiment called the marshmallow test. In the experiment, kids with a median age of 4 years and 6 months were brought into a room empty of distractions. Then a marshmallow, which is a sweet dessert, was placed in front of them. The children were then given a clear instruction that if they could resist the temptation to eat the marshmallow right away, then they would be given an additional dessert of their choice. While some children were able to resist their temptation by either covering their eyes or even sleeping, some ate the marshmallow right away. The experiment didn't end here. The researchers then followed the life of each child for more than 40 years, and the results were surprising. The children who were able to resist their temptation did well in life in all aspects, be it education, career, health, and even relationships. On the other hand, children who had eaten the marshmallow right away didn't do that well in life. This shows that people who have the willpower to resist the temptation for an immediately available reward in the hope of obtaining a more valued reward in the future have greater probability of achieving success in all spheres of life. In psychology, this concept is termed as delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is basically a practice wherein an individual forgoes an immediate reward in the anticipation of a better reward in the future. For example, you start going to the gym, but the results only start to appear after months, and the long-term benefit of quality longevity can only be seen after decades. Likewise, when you start a new business, it is really foolish to look at the future prospects from just the first few months of operations. A business growth cycle typically follows the S-curve, wherein the initial years are meant to set up the foundation for the business. Only when proper systems are developed to tackle with day-to-day challenges, the growth starts to suddenly show up in the later years and you start reaping the rewards. Same thing happens in a job. In the early years as a fresher, you aren't given much responsibilities and you are just a small moving part of the organization that can be easily replaced. You are therefore paid accordingly. But as years pass by and you climb the corporate ladder and you start taking the responsibility of the bigger moving parts of the organization, then you start making an impact. Your decisions become vital for company success, and that is when you are paid handsomely because of the experience that you have garnered over the years. But the problem doesn't end here. There are many people who earn a decent income, but still they aren't wealthy. Now you may think, what do I mean by that? Well, as Robert Kiyosaki iterates in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, wealth should be measured in time. As in, how many days could you sustain your current standard of living without any active income? So a person who has 40,000 per month of expenses and 2 crores sitting in his bank account is wealthier than a person who has 4 lakh per month of expenses and 5 crores sitting in his bank account. So keeping this concept of wealth being measured in time in mind, let's take a look at 3 very simple steps that you need to follow so that delayed gratification can show its magic and help you make stupendous amount of wealth. The first step is to avoid lifestyle inflation. This means that as your income increases, you do not increase your expenses proportionately. You instead focus on living below your means. You forego on all the blingy things that you could buy with your money because frankly, being wealthy is not about looking rich, but the feeling that you could easily afford something but you still don't buy it because it doesn't bring that much value in your life. This strategy will help you to increase your savings, reduce your existing debts faster, eliminate the financial stress of living paycheck to paycheck, and give you the freedom to pursue your passion projects after a certain point of time. The second step involves upskilling yourself for better career prospects and taking time to invest in financial literacy. Upskilling would help you to stay relevant in the market and increase your income manyfold, which thereby would help you to achieve your financial goals faster. Likewise, investing time in gaining financial literacy would help you to take advantage of the eighth wonder of the world, that is compound interest. If you learn about the power of compound interest at an early age and you start your investing journey early, then you would already be on the winning path. Let me illustrate how. Let's say you started to invest for your retirement in a 5% step-up SIP from the age of 25. Let's assume that you invested in Nifty 50 index fund that gave you a CAGR return of 12%. By the age of 60, you would have accumulated a sum of close to 10 crore rupees. On the flip side, let's say that you procrastinated your investing journey by 5 years because you didn't feel the urge to invest your time towards financial literacy and you felt you would figure out things later on. Now, if you invested in the same step-up SIP but 5 years later, the total corpus you would have accumulated at retirement would be 5.27 crores, which is roughly half the amount that you would have accumulated had you started investing 5 years ago. So you see, letting go of the instant gratification that you receive from wasting your time in unproductive activities and instead investing that time towards upskilling and financial literacy can help you build an astounding amount of wealth in the long term. Last but not the least, the third step is to avoid hyperbolic discounting. Hyperbolic discounting is basically a concept in behavioral economics wherein people disproportionately prefer a smaller immediate reward rather than a larger later reward. For instance, you prefer to replace your 5-year-old car instead of using the money for down payment of a rental property. Obviously, the benefits of owning a rental property far outweigh that of a depreciating asset such as a new car. Still, the impulsive spending habit kicks in to derail you from your actionable plans. Avoiding the habit of hyperbolic discounting would help you to instill patience, perseverance, and long-term thinking in your life. It would help you to chase real dopamine, which comes from difficult tasks such as lifting weights, taking cold showers, working hard towards one's goals, visualizing, meditating, learning, and doing real work to reach one's full potential. To conclude, delayed gratification is basically about getting back the self-control that we have lost and sticking to our long-term goals. It is about breaking down larger goals into smaller tasks and creating a reward system for completion of those tasks. Personally, I try to instill delayed gratification in me by getting inspired from people who have already achieved what I want to achieve and also by reading books that help me build a growth mindset. In the long run, the patience and perseverance that you develop from delayed gratification makes you capable to look at the long-term consequences of your actions and help you in making better life decisions. I hope this video gave you valuable insights into some aspects of behavioral finance and you would now be able to transform the way you make your day-to-day decisions. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for my next video.